Hello guys! Welcome to week 4 of my journey into an MS in Artificial Intelligence. So, before we get into the week, which has been pretty hectic, I just want to show you this package that OPIT sent me. I think this is the welcome package for students. This has been with me for almost a week now. They sent it a month ago and it arrived last week. But, like I said, the week was very hectic. I didn't have time to actually film an unboxing video. So I'm going to do it right now. So bear with me. Let me just open this. So this came from, I think, Italy. So I will be seeing this for the first time, same as you. So this is exciting for me. I've actually been waiting for this since they announced that they'll be sending this. So yeah, it contains this box. It says Campo Marzio, Roma, 1933. So this is a company that was founded in Rome. Before I open this, let me just get the other stuff. So it also has this, I think this is a journal, if you could see. But yeah, let me just open this. So, whoa, okay. So yeah, it is a journal and it has the OPIT logo. Yeah, basically just a notebook. Nothing really special, but nice touch. Yeah, that's good. So yeah, let's open up the main package. All right. And it already contains my ID. Kinda. I think I'll be using this ID, for example, to get perks from companies like, GitHub, which has GitHub for Education, and it has a lot of perks for students. And we also have here a message from OPIT, from the founder of OPIT and the rector of OPIT. So let me just read. Dear OPIT student, welcome to Open Institute of Technology. If you unbox this kit, you're unlocking a world of knowledge, growth, and opportunity. At OPIT, you are more than a student. You are a valued member of a dynamic and ambitious community. From the moment we founded OPIT, our vision was to create an institution that goes beyond traditional education. Our mission is to equip you with cutting-edge knowledge, foster an environment where you can grow, explore, and innovate, and prepare you not only for today's careers, but for the challenges and opportunities of tomorrow. Mastering any discipline, especially in technology, demands hard work, passion, and consistency. It isn't easy, and it's not for everyone. I think that statement I already said before. They also said this, in our orientation, and they're reiterating it here that it's not easy and it's not for everyone. Whatever stage you are at in life, you should be proud of your decision to take on the challenge of earning a degree. We see learning as a journey, not a destination. Every challenge you face here is an opportunity to grow. We encourage you to collaborate with your peers. These connections will enrich your learning experience and may open doors in the future. Remember, OPIT's faculty, resources, and networks are here for you. Make the most of them. As you begin this new chapter, know that we believe in your potential and are committed to supporting you every step of the way. We look forward to seeing the incredible things you will accomplish as you grow, innovate, and push the boundaries of what's possible. Embrace the transformative path ahead. Welcome to OPIT, where your future begins today. Wishing you success. Yeah, signed by Ricardo Clepo, the founder of OPIT, and Professor Francesco Profumo, director of OPIT. So yeah, nice message. This, I wonder what this is. I think it's a bag or of some sort. Let me just open it. Yeah, it's basically a bag, maybe for the notebook. Does it fit? Yep. Yeah. Looks good. This is I think, a purse by Campo Marzio, and it feels like it's made from genuine leather. This was what I was really after, this card. So this is our student card, and I won't show it to you because it has my personal details, but it's nothing really fancy. Just some other identification card, but again, I'll be using this to avail of student discounts from various service providers online. So yeah, that's it. That's the welcome package. So now let's go back to week 4 of my journey into Masters in Responsible AI here at OPIT. So, like I said earlier, this was a very hectic week because a lot of things have been happening at work, and I also had the usual schoolwork here at OPIT, and I just actually finished submitting one of my major requirements for AI ethics, which is a critique of this certain paper um, about the principles of how AI should be integrated into society. So it was a very interesting paper, but I feel the paper is quite outdated because it came out around, I think, 2018, years before OpenAI even came into the scene. So a lot of things have already changed since then. So yeah, I wrote what I thought about it. That it needs to be updated to the current technologies. But I think more or less I agreed with that paper. But more than that, what was really interesting to me during the course of performing or writing that particular paper is that I wasn't anxious of the paper itself, of writing the paper, but I was anxious that AI content detectors will wrongly flag my paper. And this is something new to me. I mean, this is the first time I've actually wrote a lengthy paper in, I don't know, more than a decade. But this is the first time I felt the pain of making sure that the paper you wrote won't be flagged by AI detectors. So thankfully, when I finished it, when I ran it through the AI detectors, most of them said that was around 90 and above percent human. Um, but that's I found it really interesting, and I think it's kind of counterproductive. Now you have to make sure that you don't sound like a robot. I admit most of my papers before in college and in graduate school for electrical engineering, before I might have sounded robotic because it's most of it is technical, right? But now you have to make sure that you sound human, and it's a very unnerving experience and very counterproductive. Instead of you focusing on actually getting your thoughts into your paper, you now have to think about, hey, is my grammar too perfect? Or am I using terms that might actually be too deep for humans? And AI might misconstrue as something generated by AI. So yeah, I didn't like it. But ironically, in this class, in our AI and ethics class, they encourage us to use AI, but not as something that would do all the work for you. They want you to use AI as a guide. I did the opposite. I didn't use it to write my paper. Instead, I read the paper and I just, you know, started writing about it. I had my thoughts, put it on paper, reorganized it, making sure that my critique uh, is well organized and my thoughts come through in a way that's better absorbed by the reader, I think. And right after, when I finished writing the paper, at least the draft, I asked AI to rate the paper, to find holes in my arguments, and to make sure that I'm not unfair towards the author of the paper I'm critiquing. So it helped sense check my rhetoric and my arguments. And it was very helpful in that regard. It it made me realize, okay, I'm asserting this point too much without actually backing it with uh, with resources, or with credible sources. So it forced me to research more about the point or the argument that I'm trying to make. So AI has been very helpful in making sure that my paper is solid in that way. It doesn't make assumptions that are founded on too much on my opinion. That making sure that even though it's an opinion paper, it's a critique. I wanted it to be fair, right? I don't want to just blurt out opinion, especially here in an academic setting. We need to make sure that everything we say is backed by data, or you have sources that can solidify your argument. So that way, AI has been very helpful. But after that, after doing that exercise, and I think I believe that the paper I had was solid enough, and even AI was telling me it's okay, but it has this a few minor things that you could explore improving. But I didn't want to go that way anymore, because again, I didn't want a perfect paper, because I felt that having a perfect paper will actually cause, or would actually cause AI content detectors to flag my paper wrongly, and I didn't want that. So there's some maybe there's some fallacies that have been left on my paper, the minor fallacies, or something that's or things that are still missing in terms of solidifying an argument. But I felt that they were actually minor to the point that I was trying to make, so I left it that way. But more so because I didn't want AI to flag my paper wrongly. So yeah, that was a very interesting experience, and it led me to think that, is this what students right now are experiencing? At least for me, if even if I get flagged, I get booted out of this program, it doesn't really affect me professionally. I'm kinda okay in that regard. But what about students who are banking on their education to find decent opportunities to make a living? This could change heavily a student's future. If any of their academic requirements and submissions get flagged for, um, plagiarism and AI content generation wrongly, that's going to have a huge impact on the student, and it could ruin their future, right? I mean, even though we say that a degree in this day and age doesn't matter as much as a few decades ago, it still matters. It still lessens the amount of opportunities that's available to them. Having a degree is still kind of an advantage. If a student gets wrongly flagged by AI, it's going to be devastating, especially if they don't have the avenue to actually contest that flag, or that accusation, because it is an accusation, right? It is a grave accusation to be told that you have performed academic dishonesty. That's a very, very grave accusation. And to rely on AI to make those decisions at the student's expense, that's very bad. What if AI flagged me as someone who was academically dishonest, but I could prove that, I did the work all by my lonesome? But how could I do that? How could I prove that I could do it? So yeah, that's an interesting topic to be discussed. Uh, Not only in our class, but academic institutions, regulators. How is this affecting students right now? And I could only imagine the stress it's adding on students on top of their already gargantuan workload, right? Being a student here in the Philippines and the schoolwork that you have to finish, to just get by an academic year, it's not a joke. And then you add this on top of that, man, I can't even imagine, right? Anyway, yeah, that's my first actual assessment here in OPIT. We don't have exams the same way as other programs. We have these assessments, and they're done asynchronously. You could submit it. You have a time frame in which you could do it and submit it, and after that, you get penalty for late submission per day. But yeah, you can do it on your own time. And it just so happened that this week has been very, very busy for me. I was still able to manage to submit it on time, just a day before the set deadline. But yeah, was really stressed out during the week just to manage this. And I was also actually in the week I fell behind on my schoolwork, on the ungraded ones, but I was able to catch up by managing my week more. Um, but yeah, I'm expecting this to only ramp up from now. Things will get even harder to manage as the weeks go by. There are a few more assessments in other subjects or in my other courses that are coming up, and I'm pretty stressed out of how I could juggle my time now. And things like my newsletter. I won't be able to send a newsletter by the time you watch this. I forgot to mention last week that I won't be having a newsletter for this week. So I'm sorry. Apologies. But yeah, things will have to be sacrificed. A couple of friends of ours sent invitations to, go on vacation out of town. My wife Alvia is actually eager to join them, but I assessed what happened this week and I said, no, I'll have to make a pass. I can't gamble my time just to go, to the beach or maybe to Baguio. The travel time itself I could use already to, to catch up on my schoolwork or to do schoolwork assignments or to go through my readings. So I can't really do it. I can't sacrifice that time for rest and recreation anymore. So yeah, it's not that I'm complaining again. I'm loving what's happening. I like it. It's a very, let's say, good stress. If there's such a thing. I'm loving it. But yeah, I need to make a few sacrifices for me to actually do this in a way that keeps my sanity, would avoid me actually failing any of my courses. So yeah, that's the highlight of this week's journey into MSAI. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.